Today I'm going to talk about why mastering the environment in which you write code, your integrated development environment or IDE, is essential for anyone who writes code. Let's start with a small example. Let's say you're a psychology researcher analyzing a data set with people's names and their test scores. Let's say you have a hypothesis that people with more common names perform better on cognitive tests. For this example, we'll walk through a small Python script designed to process the control data. So we have a list of survey responses, and we want to calculate the average score and then filter out units that have an above average score. Now, this code seems pretty straightforward, but when we try running it, we get a totally incorrect response. What's wrong? I suggest you pause the video and try to find the bug. Now, let's try this again in an IDE or an integrated development editor. IDEs are specialized application for writing code. In this case, we'll use Visual Studio Code, an open source IDE released by Microsoft. Oh, look, there's a warning over this line. That's weird. Unused variable. Oh, that's what it is. Average score is simply misspelled, and doing that creates a new variable instead of modifying the old one. With the IDE, the bug is immediately obvious. The average score is accidentally misspelled, but that bug could have taken way longer to find, or you may have never found it without the IDE. In today's video, we're going to talk about 10 cool things that can make you much more powerful in your IDE. Let's quickly define what an IDE is. An IDE is essentially a tool to help you write and manage your code efficiently. It's kind of a command center where you can edit, debug, and test your code all in one place. For example, RStudio, which many of you may be used to working in, is an IDE, primarily used for R programming. And there are many other options out there too, so some common IDEs you might come across are Visual Studio Code, PyCharm, IntelliJ, and Jupyter Notebooks, just to name a few. In today's video, I'm going to use Visual Studio Code because it's open source and very widely used, but the principles we talk about can apply to any modern IDE. Item number 1 is keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are the unsung heroes of productivity in your IDE. Instead of clicking through menus, you can use shortcut to do things much faster. Take something as simple as opening a file. You could go to the side pane and find the file and double-click it. But you can also just Control-O or Command-O on a Mac, which allows you to open the file with just the keyboard without your hands leaving the keyboard. And it doesn't stop there because keyboard shortcuts can help with almost anything you want to do in an IDE. Do you want to make text uppercase or lowercase? That's as easy as Shift-Control-U to make text uppercase and Control-U for lowercase. These little tricks can save you a lot of time. Here are a few common but incredibly helpful keyboard shortcuts to get you started. I'm going to use the Mac notation of Command, but Control is the same thing on a Windows computer. So Command-P will quickly open files by name. Control/, will toggle comments on the current line or selected blocks of code. So that means you can highlight a list of lines and then press Control/, and the entire block will either be commented if it wasn't commented or uncommented if it was. Command-KS will save all open files. Now, what's even better is that if the default shortcuts aren't really your style, you're in luck. Most modern IDEs, including Visual Studio Code, let you fully customize your key bindings. That means you can create your own shortcuts to suit your own workflow perfectly and let you optimize your setup in a way that works best for you. With practice, shortcuts become second nature and you find yourself breezing through tasks that once took much longer. The second cool thing that you could do with your IDE is very cool things with text editing. So for example, sometimes you need to edit large chunks of code across multiple lines or columns, and IDEs let you select and edit text vertically, which is also known as multi-line editing. This makes tasks like changing variable names across a block of code much faster, so no more copying and pasting or manually editing each line. So for example, if you want to select a rectangular block of text, you can do Command-Option and then drag on a Mac or Shift-Alt-Drag on a Windows laptop. Now, if you want to place multiple cursors in the document and then edit those all at once, you can do that with Option-Click on a Mac or Alt-Click on Windows. Another cool thing you could do is Option or Alt plus the up and down arrows, and this moves a line or a block of text up and down without you having to copy paste, and this is great for reordering code without breaking your flow. Number 3 is the terminal. So modern IDEs also come with an integrated terminal, which means you don't need to switch between your editor and the command line. You can run scripts, test functions, or use version control commands without having to leave your IDE. And this is incredibly handy when you're in the middle of coding and need to do something quickly. If you're not familiar with the terminal and why it's useful, check out our video on the topic. Number 4 is AI. These days, many IDEs take things to the next level with AI-powered features. For example, GitHub Copilot provides auto-completion and selects entire blocks of code based on the context of what you're writing. These kinds of tools can significantly speed up your coding and reduce the need to search for documentation online. Number 5 is plugins. Most modern IDEs let you install plugins that give you more functionality than you got with the out-of-the-box application. So whether it's adding support for a new programming language or integrating with cloud storage or improving your version control system, plugins vastly expand the capabilities of your IDE to fit your specific needs. So for example, you can add a Python plugin for better syntax highlighting or a Git plugin to help you with version control. And there are lots of fun and cool plugins, and you can look them up and explore and have fun. Feature number 6 is automatic formatting. So this is a huge time-saving feature that also makes your code much cleaner. And for more about why clean code is important, check out our video on the topic. When you save your file, an IDE can automatically format your code to follow consistent coding styles like indentation, spacing, and line breaks. And it might seem like a small thing, but it makes your code so much cleaner and easier to read, and it saves you from having to manually format it every time. Number 7 is linting. IDEs can also provide linting, which means they analyze your code for common mistakes or style issues while you're writing. So, for example, if you forget to close a bracket or make a typo, your IDE will flag it immediately, and that saves you from writing all your code and then having to debug the error later. It's a huge time saver. Number 8 is debugging tools. Debugging is a crucial part of a development process, and modern IDEs come with a very powerful built-in debugging tools. So, IDEs allow you to set breakpoints, step through the code line by line, and inspect variables, and evaluate expressions during runtime, all directly within the editor. This makes it much easier to pinpoint issues and fix bugs quickly. You can use features like conditional breakpoints, call stacks, and watch lists to focus on specific aspects of your code, which makes debugging way more efficient and less frustrating. Number 9 is type hints. Many IDEs provide type hints, which are small annotations in the code that tell you what kind of value is expected for a variable or function. So, for example, when you hover over a function, the IDE can show you what type is expected for its arguments and return value. This helps reduce errors and makes your code much easier to understand, especially when you revisit it after some time. Last but not least, number 10 is version control integration. Version control is crucial for tracking changes and collaborating with others, and many IDEs come in with built-in version control integration, particularly for Git. You can commit your code, push to repositories like GitHub, and even merge branches directly from the IDE without even leaving your editor. This tight integration between your code and version control can make working on collaborative projects much smoother. This isn't even a fraction of the available tools in any given IDE. Take the time to get comfortable with your IDE, explore its features, and make it work for you. Trust me, it'll pay off in the long run. In the next video, we'll talk about debugging code, or what to do when your code just doesn't work.